Here's how you can detox your body step by step. You know, I often have patients come in and they say, I really feel like I need a cleanse or a detox. And we often get into this one long argument about how detoxes and detoxification are absolute nonsense. But in this video, I thought I would share a bit about what I would recommend if you feel like you genuinely need a cleanse or a detox, as well as some of the pathways in your body and the organs that are already in charge. And ultimately, the question, do you need to detox actively from toxins in your environment? Hey guys, I'm Dr. Alex Heyne, board licensed doctor of acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine, and author of the health book Master the Day. So let's get in. Now, I would be remiss if I did not start by saying, you fundamentally do not need to detox. We're gonna start there before we get into anything else here, because this is one of the absolute worst parts of the alternative medicine industry. All the detox teas and pills and parasite cleansers that are utter nonsense, when your body has half a dozen organs detoxing all of the time for you, designed to help you live as long as possible, as functionally as possible. So before we get in, let's talk about the 7 primary detox organs that are working for you all the time, every single day. And then we'll jump into more of the traditional Chinese medicine point of view, what I would recommend, as well as some other important details here for you. There are about a half a dozen key detox pathways, depending on who you ask. And the very first organ we often think of is the liver. So the liver is the main detoxification organ. It processes toxins, drugs, chemicals, even herbs, transforms them into less harmful compounds or into substances that can then be excreted more easily. You know, your liver will generally take care of a lot of things. Unless you're drinking a bottle of vodka, your liver has a whole bunch of different enzymes that will help break that down into something less toxic and then get it out of your body. Organ number 2 is your kidneys. The kidneys filter the blood to remove waste products and excess substances, such as urea, which are then excreted in the urine. Now, the kidneys are responsible for balancing electrolytes and also removing toxins that have been processed by the liver so far. So liver and kidneys, 2 of the main detox organs that you will see. And again, even in pharmaceutical trials or even research on herbs and medications, they're very careful about toxicity to the liver and to the kidneys. Now, organ number 3, your lungs. The lungs are responsible for removing volatile substances, such as carbon dioxide and certain gases via respiration. Some environmental toxins can also be expelled through exhalation as well. You don't normally think about your lungs being a detox organ, but they are, and they're working for you every single moment. The 4th detox organ is your skin. Now, your skin helps eliminate waste through sweating. Now, sweating, believe it or not, can help remove small amounts of heavy metals, salts, and other waste products from your body themselves. Now, I know it's very trendy these days to do certain kinds of saunas and sweating, but in my opinion, you're a lot better off just physically exercising to the point where you lightly sweat. 5th detox organ, your intestines. The gastrointestinal tract plays a role in detoxification by removing waste products through the process of digestion and elimination. Bile, produced by the liver, helps carry fat-soluble toxins into the intestines for excretion. So if you're not pooping like a champ, you better figure out how you should be. Organ number 6, lymphatic system. So the lymphatic system helps remove cellular waste and toxins from tissues and directs them to the bloodstream, where they can be filtered and excreted by the liver or the kidneys. Now, one of the best ways to move the lymph is just through exercise, by moving the blood. And the 7th detox organ is the colon. Proper bowel movements are essential for detoxification. You know, the colon is obviously designed to eliminate waste products and remove toxins already processed by the liver and excreted in bile, for example. Now, if you guys aren't sure which of these organs you're having problems with, I've put together a free root cause quiz designed exactly to help you figure out which one of these is the problem. So for example, you can go through and take this quiz. It's the first link below the video. And based on the symptoms you're having, if you're having symptoms, we will share, according to traditional Chinese medicine, these are the organs and physiological pathways most likely linked to that symptom. You can score yourself on that quiz, and from there, we've actually linked to dozens of the other videos I've already shot in painstaking detail, and you can actually see which path to go down. Is it my digestion? Is it breathing problems? Is it kidney problems? So take the quiz. It's the first link below the video. Now let's jump in a little bit more and talk about traditional Chinese medicine and detox pathways. Because keep in mind, ancient people knew of certain detox pathways, right? They knew that you should probably be pooping every day and that pooping once a week is not good for you. But also pooping once a week doesn't mean you're going to get colon cancer. So there's not such a clear one-to-one relationship. Some people believe that because they're constipated, they have skin issues and acne. Not really true in my experience. And I don't think scientifically that holds up as well. Some of these relationships are not one-to-one like that. It doesn't mean just because you can't sweat, you're going to get some crazy illness because you aren't detoxing properly. But in Chinese medicine, we're heavily focused on what the ancient doctors called the free flow of qi. Free flow of qi, think of it as functional flow of physiology. And the best way to know, by knowing if you have proper functional flow of your organs and the physiological pathways, is actually to take that quiz, ironically. Because when you come in and you see me one-on-one, or you see a TCM doctor, via the objective diagnoses, the pulse, the tongue, abdominal diagnosis, palpating the channels and the points, this will help indicate which meridian is out of balance, and therefore which organ needs to be treated. Frankly, the best way is to take that quiz. I put that quiz together for my own patients. But a third point here, most of the time, you don't really have to do anything. Not all the time, but most of the time. Unless, again, you're drinking a bottle of vodka per night, the liver has all kinds of enzymes that will break that down, and your body can handle it. Now, there is one caveat here. Our ancient ancestors weren't exposed to microplastics. They weren't exposed to endocrine disrupting plastic water bottles. There weren't microplastics coming out of the sky ending up in the soil, or excessive heavy metals from, the food that's been imported and processed. There wasn't even the waste products urinated out from pharmaceuticals that people are consuming. I remember reading a paper that in a bay in Seattle, the mussels, the shellfish, had such high levels of opioids and pharmaceuticals in them that people were consuming them and actually having negative health effects. That obviously didn't exist 500 years ago. In those cases, maybe we do need more intensive detoxification, but for all intents and purposes, on a day-to-day basis, you don't need to actively detox, you just need to be healthy. Now, let's talk about two fundamental steps here. The first step I would personally choose, if you're actively trying to detox, is to make sure you have proper digestion and elimination function. And here's why. Ancient doctors in Chinese medicine say that the root of your health day-to-day comes from digestive. We say the spleen qi. They call it your postnatal energy, as opposed to prenatal, which is your genetic information from your parents. Some people are more sickly, some are more strong. You can't control that. You were born that way. Besides your genetic material, what you can control is the resources generated through healthy eating. But when you look at it, in my opinion, the main way people damage their heart, their kidneys, their liver, their digestive system is diet. When you're talking about heart disease, you're talking about diabetes where people damage their kidneys. You're talking about end-stage hypertension where they're having damage elsewhere in the body, same as diabetes. The feet, neuropathy, the kidneys, nephropathy, the eyes, all of these areas that are being damaged from the downstream effects, it is ultimately diet for a lot of people these days. If you're concerned about your detox pathways being open, focus primarily on digestion, because statistically speaking, the reason we will die today in America and in the US and developed countries is primarily from nutrition. So what should you keep an eye on? Look at the digestive system or go through that quiz. If you're having acid reflux and indigestion, you may not know this, you may also have issues besides your stomach and the pancreas producing enzymes with fatty liver, so your liver's being harmed, and gallbladder issues. Right there is your first sign and symptom that detox pathways are getting clogged up, if I can use that term in a strange sense. So how do you do this? My most basic answer is number one, focusing on more of a whole foods, plant-based diet. My main meals tend to look like 1 to 2 cups of rice. I change the kind of rice every day. 1 cup of sauteed greens. I always saute in olive oil. And then about 3 to 5 ounces of animal protein depending on my hunger. And I drizzle it in olive oil. That to me is like a whole foods diet that tastes very good and is very easy to do. Now my second step to step-by-step detox is actually dealing with active health issues holistically. Clinically, if you see me, I will deal with those internal medicine issues with traditional herbal formulas that are extremely effective at restoring gallbladder function, treating sludge, bile flow issues, as well as treating fatty liver, and can rebalance levels of stomach acid or enzyme production. The reason why I say dealing with health issues is a way to detox is because if you deal with health issues, those symptoms indicate a kind of decompensation, for lack of a better word, of proper organ function. The pancreas isn't producing enough digestive enzymes. That's why you're getting so bloated and having weird bowel movements. These issues are indicating pathology is beginning. If you do have acid reflux and fatty liver, there's a high chance you also have diabetes and heart disease. By treating these early canaries in the coal mine that often come in via the mouth, you are also preventing the downstream effects of that river analogy, right? The qi flow is blocked, the functions are blocked, that then become pathological. Rather than doing something so intense as like chelation therapy for heavy metals, in my opinion, detoxing first starts with treating whatever symptoms are there, because the function of those organs, your detox organs, will then come closer back to normal, but also you won't have those symptoms anymore, which are often precursors to more serious illnesses. Now again, this video could be literally hours long, but I wanted to keep it tight as I could to overview how we detox. You don't really need to detox, and what I would do if you wanted a step-by-step. Start with digestion, and if there's active pathology, treat it holistically. Pharmaceuticals typically don't heal, in my experience, but traditional formulas do. And that's really important. They restore physiology and they restore the organ functions as they were before. And that's a big difference between taking a PPI for your acid reflux for the next 50 years and fixing it so that you don't have it anymore. Now, again, don't forget I work with a limited number of new patients every month in my clinic in Los Angeles or virtually via telemedicine. If you guys want to work with me or my team, just go to dralexheyne.com/clinic, or below the video, go in the description. We have the phone number for my clinic and the email listed out. Just call or email us to book a visit if you want. And again, I have a couple other great videos on this kind of whole detox myth, if you want to call it that, and what I would recommend right up here.